right here in Series E. You got, of course, the tree fights going on. You got the geyser fights going on, along with the Frag East fights for Cooler. Do want to gain this position now. Rice Krispie Treats, though, making their drop over at Frag West. They're in position. Maybe they try to make a play for the third party if Cooler continue their fight. But no, this is just a train split, actually, coming out from Rice Krispie Treats. As you can see, Sunny is on the other sides of that connector here, picking up the Eva for himself, as he should be backing off. Yuki starts things off, taking down Imperial Hal. Here comes Reps, though, with the L-Star. We don't get to see it much at all. As I say that, that's 2 L-Star kills, as it looks like Razer are taking out third impact. Oh, missing the melee, surprisingly enough, and that's what gets him punished. Snipe down is here, and he's got the Hemlock. We'll see if he can try and take him out. He does get that first burst, the Hemlock connecting, but TSM are out. Cooler went out this one, and this is what I was talking about. Maybe someone tries to get involved in the third party, especially the Frag West team, but that fight, it took place fairly quickly with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go before the zone starts closing. We join on board with Pop-Tarts, who are fighting 303 once again over here at Geyser. 303 were able to win out that one early on, as Impulse tries to hold on to that door, but now as he goes for the repeat, they get pushed. Lucas goes down. 303 will pick that one up, and game number 2, just like game number 1, Tom.
Man, can we talk about how Reps almost dumpstered all of Cooler, though? Those shots with the L-Star were absolutely ridiculous. If he would have got the melee off, they would have won that fight, and that would have been absolutely insane, taking someone down with purple armor when we have basically no shields right there. But either way, Cooler getting the second half of that 50-50, and that's why they call it 50-50, is 303 now going to get the rest of this Geyser loot. Geyser is one of those tough situations where you are going to go and get contested. There's not much recovery loot to have. You can see 34 shots in the Spitfire. Nobody's really fully healed yet. They're going to have to scrap up the rest of this loot. The rotation's going to be really late as well. It looks like we have another fight. This looks like another 50-50 happening between Team Pringles over at Sorting Factory. Pringles is psychotic for going over here.
Yeah, this is almost a death wish, but we do have Presley doing some decent damage now as he has that Beast of the Hunt popping, pushing into the shield. Will take out Crust, but he's still left in a 1v2 as he gets hounded down, and oh my goodness, goes for the repeat through the door, goes to the high ground here. It's just Retzi up against him, but he's only got about 10 HP to work with. Third party coming in, and that is why. Oh boy, Season coming in for the cleanup here as they pick that one up, and Sentinels getting really caught off guard with this timing push coming out from Season.
That's what Season needs to do, adapt after the game, and look, this is what we talked about. They already have the scan, 15 squads already down to 5 squads getting deleted. So that's absolutely insane. Sentinels, third impacts out. A lot of good teams. Team Pringles, TSM. Season going to be taking all of this loot now, and they're going to have one of their early fast rotations too. So this is a great situation to be in, as Joey Blackout is going to finish off 6. I believe that's another 50-50 that was continuing to happen over towards Lava City that we saw yesterday between Team Cheez-It and Team Intel. So 14 squads going into this zone. Things most likely will slow down now.
Yeah, gold backpack going over to Rambo for this as well, as they continue to rotate through. And now NPL playing over here by staging, as it looks like there's a squad coming in. The lurk, is it working? Oh my goodness, this is terrifying. They're just crafting without even knowing that NPL is there. Never mind, the jig is up as Navi knows the other squad on the other side of this lurk. And what is going on? NPL, typically we don't see them crumble like this, and now it's gonna be the E-Rat Ronnie show, as he has to back away from this one, popping the bat for himself. Navi will be able to recover off the back of this, and oh my goodness, maybe they were a little bit too shy on pulling the trigger there. NPL getting punished now as the swing comes in. Navi clean that one up.
Ronnie's like, what's going on, guys? I just took one down, almost took another player down while I'm fighting a 2 versus 3 versus 1. How'd you guys die so fast? What you have to do in that situation is, if you're going to rat, you rat. If you don't, you don't. And it looks like they just weren't on the same page right there, unfortunately, for Nestle Pure Life. SCN now with the big scan, and also showing this is going to be a dome zone. So this is going to be really, really interesting to see how all these teams elect to play this one. You're going to have pretty fast rotations coming in from a team like Solafide as well. So they're going to be making their way over towards Thermal Station. But SCN, they can pick whatever they want right now. Let's see what they elect to do. Obviously, you have this beacon that comes into the back, so if you're able to get Kenny in there, you're going to be able to find exactly where this one is. This is a great building to hold. A lot of times it does kind of end right over here in front of them, about north, about 30 meters in front.
Yeah, oddly enough, just because of how aggressive the lobby has been, and with all the fighting that's taking place, people are still rotating into the zone for now. I believe they're sharing the majority of Dome proper with one other squad, and so they'll be able to play off the back here and continually hit that beacon, like you said, Tom. They'll have a good idea where this is going to continue to go, and for the simple fact that they already picked up early game kills, they can play this a little bit more passively. Well, they would like to just poke out, get these blues up to purples shortly. We'll see if they get that opportunity for now. Let's flip around to some other squads. There shouldn't be too much action taking place here first season.
There's not going to be much action really anywhere, unfortunately, because everybody already fought and duked it out. But it does seem like Applejacks is interested in getting some long range poke, most likely to charge up those horrible shields that they have, 3 grays. And that's how fast you get your armor taken down. Just a couple of bullets right to the chest and head. You're going to have to back off. Rockstar getting into a duel right now with Team Solafide. Great spray from Gentrifying. That bubble is proving very useful from Resulta. Designful's down 2-on-2 situation.
Oh no, now it's down to the 1v2 as a third party might have got involved as well. Applejacks here was able to get the knock onto Resulta, and there it is. Maybe this is the opportunity for Applejacks to try and get some better loot coming in for the third party, and they are trying to punish them at this point. The nades are coming in as Tech is full HP currently, but it's still the numbers advantage for them at this point. He goes for the repeat, will take the port back as Crummy was able to get out of dodge, but Tech does take some poke damage. Here comes the scan out from Applejacks. As Crummy gets cracked once again, and Tech might have to pull Rabbit out of his hat on this one once again if he does go down. Pick up their banners. I mean, they were able to recover. Remember, in game number 1, Sentinels nearly wiped them. They were able to get the reses, get the full 3-man back up as the rest of Solafide now are getting cleaned up here. Oh boy, defensive bombardment right on top, and rollers will go down. CLG coming in for this one, and what is going on in this game, Tom?
It's like, wait, that's not our defensive bombardment? No, that's Lou's, and then Lou goes and steals the bubble as well. Extremely aggressive play. Q gonna be popped from Madness. What a third party coming in. Vaxon does take some initial damage over towards the side. Finish is gonna come through. White knockdown shield not gonna last very long against Madness as now V gets into it with Liquid over towards the side as well. There's the other knock from Lou onto Aves with the Spitfire, and the finish as well with the EVA 8, and looks like he's going to go down to the last player on this team, but Vaxon should be in the vicinity. He is. The finish comes through. The res hits as well. Very clean job from CLG. What a defensive bombardment and bubble play from Lou.
Yeah, a lot of action here. We're already down to 11 squads, and, you know, a lot of people might be complaining like, hey, this isn't what proper Apex Legends competitive looks like. But the thing is, this is a very, very strange case. Like we said, a lot of teams now starting to posture for the lands, making sure that they secure their drop spot, right? Because it'll be the first really international competition that we've had in, such a long time, since Poland, really. And so you need to be able to secure this spot. Cooler were able to at least win a second 50-50, so give them a little bit more renewed confidence up against taking on TSM. And they're doing it with the lag disadvantage, but oh boy, we do have Yuki backing away. He's got the Horizon there. He's able to pop that gravity lift to get out of the AoE as they're making their push onto Dome now. They do have to be careful. The crossfire being set up as Nasky is disconnected from his squad. He doesn't have his shield, but he will be able to slide in to reconnect with them for the time being, and they can play the cards. As you can see now, pings going on down over here. A lot of fighting taking place inside Dome finally, as we're now down to 10 squads, 29 players remaining. I wonder if Tech was able to recover a banner.
Possibly, but I do like the way that Cooler is setting up over towards the end. We talked about the importance of keeping your zone towards, or your back towards the zone, so all of the action, all of the teams end up fighting, and you can just go and pick these guys apart. Flatline really being used by a lot of these players. You can see Hemlock in the hands right now of some players on Rockstar, but Tech doing a great job with the drone, making sure that everybody's getting back into the game, making sure that they're going and figuring out where they want to go and take these fights to these teams, but here's a very, very late rotation, as expected from Razer, who doesn't even come near towards this landing spot is. It looks like this is pulling, again, over towards Dome. Lava City is going to be a fairly good rotation. You have to make your way up this hill, and that's the most difficult spot. So they're going to come up here, take the high ground, and kind of plot how they're going to make their way through. Most likely, it could be a portal play from Hackula if there's too many teams.
Yeah, they could try to do this a little bit early on as the ring is closing for the time being, but no, there is some resistance. Another team still here inside Lava City as the defensive environment has gone down. The bubble will be used by Muffins to keep them safe, so that's just really nothing at this point, but it's full roof control now for Team Razer. The scan comes out, and might have this team trapped inside the diner. How aggressive do they get as the pings do go down as well? And so it's just scan for scan. So both teams just waiting this one out and really can't get aggressive until the beasts of the hunts are gone. But oh boy, they have given up some of the roof. And there it is, the push, the challenge coming out now as Muffins took so much damage. 303 are able to focus fire him down. And Mr. Hackula will just go ahead and call it there. Drops to the low along with his Bloodhound as Muffins gets finished off. 303. Find the moment of weakness there and take advantage.
It's the power of the Beasts of the Hunt and the scans. You continuously hit those over and over again every 7-8 seconds. And once you see a team splitting up or out of position, that's when you go and collapse. And every time you get scanned, it makes it so difficult to make a play because the scan lingers for that extra 2 or 3 seconds afterwards. So now you see the high ground importance from 303 and also kind of the thought process of multiple teams thinking that they can go and rotate up through this ramp. This is still, with only 10 squads alive, would be a lot more brutal than typically would be. But here goes Razer trying to finish these guys off in a 2-on-3 situation. 303 going to start to continue to push. Looks like they do get one knock. Stealth Lord is fairly weak. He's putting shots over through the window, but again, in a 2-on-3 situation, just so tough against these pro teams.
Liquid trying to finish off this fight here as they're on top of CLG, who I believe, I don't know if they were third party or who was involved in the fight. Rockstar was in this fight as well, but not really too many of them, as I believe 2 of them got thirsted off, and CLG will go down. Liquid picking this one up. Flanker is still on that Bangalore, by the way, and so it doesn't look like it was much of a troll pick, or maybe he's just committing to it now. We'll see. His Nocturnal will go ahead and heal that one up with the bat. And with a minute left to go, they still have to worry about trying to rotate in. But you have to imagine that a lot of teams right now are still playing inside Dome. So maybe this will be a free rotate for them, Tom.
The thing about Flanker is the last game in the ALGS that we just saw, he played on the Bangalore, and that's the game that they won, the only game that they won. So it's not too surprising that if he does play this correctly, it could be the only Bangalore in NA. But I do feel like there are a little bit stronger picks. The only problem that I see with Bangalore is people really don't know how to utilize her smokes that well. Her smokes actually are pretty useful, and if you're able to go and kind of zone people off and help with your rotations, that's going to help. But then you do have Bloodhounds on every single team in NA, so the scans for the smoke are going to show, which makes things a little bit difficult. But Yuki posturing here with the Kraber. Let's see if he can get some shots on these players.
Yeah, he's holding on to it. He's got 12 shots total with that for now, and honestly, Yuki with that Kraber is an absolute terror. Cooler still holding this position outside the eggshells over at Dome. See Nasky doing a great job of checking their flanks as well. All 3 players of Cooler currently making sure that they're keeping a good awareness of their surroundings at this point. We're down to 7 squads, 21 players remaining. It's the 3rd ring closing now. And again, this is not the typical case for our knights, our pro knights here, but this is also just not the typical setting. You know, a lot of teams just really want to secure their drop spots, and for now it's Cooler again still holding this position. Let's go ahead and swap around to other teams to see exactly, or at least take a look at the map to see where the teams are. 303 make their way on in from the north side of this eggshell here, Tom, and free shots coming down from Paradise onto Cooler.
Yeah, it's about conserving your ammo right now if you're Paradise. That R99, you can have 200 shots and think it's a lot, but the more you continue to rip 30 after 30 after 30, that becomes a problem. And there's the scan, kind of expecting it to continue to pull over here. This is exactly what we were talking about before. The power of Kenny on that drone, and now you made it this far. You can't really mess it up if you're SDN.
I'm wondering if the silos are in here in the back. As you can see, like you said, the ring falling far, far south here. I haven't really seen a ring like this where it follows like almost the original algorithm, where like if the ring pulls into a certain direction, it continues to pull in that direction right now. As you can see, they're keeping track of Cooler, who are trying to swing around to the back side here. As Cooler themselves, they don't have a recon, so they just have to play the best that they can at this point off of their idea of where this ring is going. Nasty faces some resistance there on the south side, but they still have given themselves a lot of time to work with to try and figure this one out. And they will be on the slow side of the ring as well. Yuki watching his back with that Kraber for now, as Dell is still holding on to this port, and so he does have a lot of options for himself.
Gonna have to connect with an opening shot, and there's the Gibraltar peeking. Did that connect?
Oh.
The headshot he did onto Bird, and because that connects, that creates an opportunity to go and push over towards that side because they do need to make a rotation. However, are they going to collapse on that? They have to make some plays over towards the side, and they do. They finish off Bird, and now they continue to push over towards that area. Still with 28 seconds, there's not much to go and move, but Yuki doesn't connect on that one, and they are pinched in between two spots. Great job using the grab lift, but I'm thinking that he's going to get shot up throughout all this, and he does. Hits the battery, goes and uses that passive to continue to thum around. Portal is in the air, and the hops are there for Yuki. Do they get into safety? It's just a little bit of safety for now. One team sitting inside the building. Let's see if Cooler elects to push.
Yeah, Gibraltar's forgetting. Well, you know, it was like, what is it? I guess the shadow patch where the bleed damage came in, surprisingly to a lot of people, and so hitting that headshot onto Gibraltar through the arm shield, absolutely cracking. What a great shot. Or maybe he just got out of ADS for a long time. I'd be surprised if he an ADS there. Team Cheez-It still involved in this for the time being, as they do back away now. It's Murdoch watching from the anchor position as Cooler are getting cleaned up. Casper picking up 2 with the Volt now. And oh boy, things were looking great for them, but here's 303 with the third party. Cooler have gone down in 7th place. Casper gets finished off, and 303 are just in prime position here. As, they do have, looks like a small split going on, but they have control over this building at the very least. Minute and 15 seconds to go before this ring starts closing in. It's Cheez-Its now that have the outside dome to work off of. They're setting up their barrels, but they have a full team ahead of them currently. It looks like it is going to be Team Liquid there trying to make their advances, Tom.
You can see the smokes popping out right here to kind of zone out over towards the side, so you can't scope in on that one. And ammo running low. Only 20 shots left in that scout, so you got to be extremely conservative, as this ring still is taking a little bit to move over here. And you see everybody kind of taking their time, waiting for their fights, waiting for their opportunities. Once that happens, all hell really going to break loose. Ping's going down 50% to that portal. Paradise is not going to have this in time, so they're going to have to make some sort of bubble play coming in for Maskey as they slide outside the door here and make their way either to that opposite side roof or move towards the back side of the building. You see, they haven't decided yet. There's 3 teams in the area.
And this is why teams would love to have some sort of mobility to get on top of some of these tankers here. This ring continuing to pull down south. Good damage out from Paradise now, but like you said, needs to conserve the ammo. He only has 4 clips total. Well, 3 clips total now as he turns around, starting to run out. He's almost running on empty with that EVA 8 as well. Haven't been able to recover much of the loot now, as he does at least force back that team, but the ring will start closing in, and this one's a fast one. Even though they're on the slower side of it, they're being pressured now. Paradise riding the edge here, took some ring damage, but he does get the bat off. He was so close to getting the red Evo for himself as well, so he doesn't get full value off of it, but he's still alive, which is the important part here in the late game. They have a small pocket here underneath the building to work with as well, as things come to a standstill. 5 squads remaining, and it is the final ring. It's going to be Cheez-It to start it all off, getting a knock onto 1. And is that going to start, of course, the end here? Who pulls the trigger first is the most important question.
Yeah, and that's how competitive Apex kind of works right there. That was a great angle of how to make the best out of a situation. Pings go down, bubble goes down. They had no idea exactly where they were going to play. Thought it was going to be the boxes, then they realized under the house, but then all of a sudden you turn the corner and you have all this great platform to use as cover. And when you look at the map and you see how small it is, it's crazy how many teams, how many players can really coexist. But what's interesting is we normally have about 8 teams in this situation. So teams fighting and not afraid to go after it right here. And 303 continuing to try to get this team out of the side over here, but it's going to be, I believe, SCN with the knocks, with the finishes as well. That means the third parties are going to come through. Team Liquid around the corner, have the Digi threat as well, so if they need to go and use that, they will. That means that Prodigy Ace is going to go take the high ground right here. It looks like a Team Liquid versus Cheez-It duel for the final of game number 2. The res coming through. The shots are going to connect. The EVA 8 for Prodigy Aces. Super impressive. 2-on-1. Cheez-It should be able to finish this one.
Murdoch almost low, but Flanker tries to survive for now on that Bangalore. He's got the double time speed to back away, but he's in an alley. Cheez-It will finish this one off, taking game number 2 of the evening.